Mr. Gappy, we don't know the problem. Mr. Dean Barrow, we don't know the problem. That we gonna come to when you need we.
The music and brief housekeeping preceding today's demonstration set the tempo for how the roughly 2-mile march to the National Assembly would progress. The crowd, by our estimates, never eclipsed 300, but Nigel Petillo, the president of the Belize Grassroots Empowerment Association, says that the substance of the event was not to be determined by the numbers, but by the underlying message.
Yes, to the government, numbers and BI wishes, that's how they behave. Then I want to lash back my way and tell you that, oh, only 2, 3, 4 people made out there. That's not the issue here. We have created an awareness countrywide that they're not just me or just we to take advantage of. People around this country have been complaining of the same complaint, but the government refused to act. This, today now, if you're never here, we do have a list of demands that we're going to make on the steps of the National Assembly when we reach out there. To list a few, a new land reform system where we can see, where there's transparency and accountability. If somebody get a piece of land, we want to know who get it and how much you get it for and where you get it.
The demonstration drew out some familiar faces and many lay persons who shared their personal gripes with us.
All the while I was paying my lands of 30 acres from Jenkins Creek. And at the said time that UDP get into powers, which the last term, I went and pay my payment every year. I just pay $90. And when they told me that my land closed, then cancel it.
Process has become ridiculous. It has become overburdensome, and then we need to reject that and COLA completely reject the land system in this country.
And there needs to be change in the lands department. There needs to be change in the way they deal with the public, and they need to be more accountable to the public. I am tired of going there and wasting a day of my life and 100 miles one way and 100 miles the next way, not to accomplish anything because I can't see this one and they can't see me today. I have business that, to do with the lands department. At the same time, I try to help people. I bring up documents to pay their taxes for them and stuff like that, and things have changed.
It is difficult for any Belizean to get a 50 by 75, and we are seeing how difficult it is to get an acre. But we will jeopardize our territorial integrity by going to the ICJ. We are risk giving land to Guatemala, and we won't give our own.
And a father yet. All my life I live a Belizean. Seven daughters, 1 son. I need to get a picnic the land. And it take a little long time, I still the rent.
But according to Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Natural Resources, Beverly Castillo, the ministry already recognizes the problems and has initiated a step toward fixing the problems.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Agriculture prepared a land use policy. It was endorsed by Cabinet recently, and we're in the process of institutionalizing that document, that policy document that was developed by this ministry. Of course, the whole matter of land distribution based on its suitability and functionality will be exposed in that process. We're about recognizing that there were weaknesses in the system. Yes, there are. That is one of government's response to fixing some of the problems that currently exist in this ministry.
How soon can we expect that?
The policy was endorsed by Cabinet, and we are looking at ways of institutionalizing it. It requires funding. It requires an institution to implement those recommendations that were made. This ministry has begun to, we have done the document by pulling it apart and looking at those that are doable. Number of occasions that we met with bgyea, we conceded that we will process them as a group. We will give them concessionary rates, 1 acre of land for, I believe it's $1,000, when you can get 4 or 5 lots, maybe more, from an acre of land that's sold to at the village level for $800.
Regarding the allegation that land is sold for as little as $1.10, Castillo clarified that in those cases where that occurs, it is almost always a project earmarked for a municipal body, a village council, or a school project. But if today's demonstration does not yield the kind of transformations that bgyea expects, Nigel Petillo says they have a plan B.
We are in the process of putting together a national land reform committee where people from throughout the country are going to be on board, where we'll be adjusting these problems and see how we could put together strategies that definitely make the land distribution process much easier, a much easier flow of getting out to the Pope.
Reporting for Love News, I'm Marian Ali.